Welcome back to week 9 of the DSR channel, and we are going over the new subclasses from the Forgotten Realms Heroes of the Faerun book that just came out yesterday. And we are to the Scion of the Three Rogue. Now, good news, spoiler alert, this one's good. This one's solid. I know a lot of us are disappointed with the Banneret. Many of us are disappointed with the Winterwalker Ranger, but this is nice. Pick me up, because this one's great. All right? Scion of the Three Rogue. Become a gruesome agent of malice. Starting off strong with the flavor. A Scion of the Three draws power from a group of malevolent gods known in Baldur's Gate as the Dead Three. Bane, a god of tyranny, Baal, a god of violence and murder, and Merkel, a god of death. While some rogues of this subclass pledge themselves ardently to those three macabre gods, others are thrust on this path by a curse. Either way, a Scion's power manifests as various occult gifts, as well as an uncanny talent for striking and terrifying foes. Scion of the Three are most common in Baldur's Gate, where the Dead Three lived as mortals before ascending to godhood. Underground cults to Bane, Baal, and Merkel often count Scions of the Three among their most useful agents. Outside of Baldur's Gate, secular thieves guilds such as the Shadow Thieves of Om or the Xanathar Guild in Waterdeep might call on a Scion of the Three to undertake an especially violent contract. So, oozing flavor all the way through that description. I love it. And the art is great. You can see she's got this sweet tattoo on her arm, I guess there, of that one's Baal, right? Yeah, that's Baal. God of murder. Very cool thematically. I love her face, right? She's got a serious face. It's not entirely like just, mustache twisting evil guy, but she's very serious and she's got this look like don't mess with her. So sweet right from the beginning. Level 3 Bloodthirst. When an enemy you can see within 30 feet of yourself takes damage and is bloodied after taking that damage, but is not killed outright, you can take a reaction and then teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of that enemy. You can then make one melee attack. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Awesome. We're starting off with a banger. This is great. I love this one. So, a few things to call out, right? What is the number one thing every rogue wants? They want a reaction attack so that they can trigger sneak attack again, right? That's the way to get 2 sneak attacks per round, right? One on your turn and one on somebody else's turn, because sneak attack is once per turn, not once per round. And so you're always looking for, like, can I have an order, order domain cleric in the party? Can I get a battle master in there for commander strike? Maybe take sentinel even. I've considered that on some rogue builds, or a few levels in fighter to get battle master, so you can do riposte yourself. But this gives it to you right on your subclass. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So that's great. So we're like the design of subclass is doubling down on your main thing of the base class, which is great. Okay, making the thing that you already want to try to do easier. So big win, design win right there, and that's going to be nice. Yeah, it is going to increase your DPR, so great. Second, you do not have to make the melee attack against a creature that triggered the reaction. You might want to, but maybe if they trigger the reaction and they're at 1 hit point, maybe you just teleport there and stab somebody else, because this is going to be a sneak attack, which means you're going to do a lot of damage. And so maybe you don't want to waste it on the one that triggered it, but they can trigger it. You teleport to them, and if one of their allies is nearby and has a lot of hit points, you sneak attack that one instead. So this is versatile and cool, and a reaction teleport. Now, you can only teleport towards an enemy, but reaction teleports are rare. I like this. And a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. That works great. Now, I do wish that this subclass had been based on wisdom, because we already have a charisma-based class, charisma subclass with the swashbuckler rogue. We already have an intelligence subclass with the arcane trickster. So it would have been nice to make this one wisdom, and it's kind of got clerical feel to it. So that would have made more sense too. And rogues are interesting in that the base class, it makes sense. I mean, if you could raise intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, that benefits the base class, because they benefit. There's this heavy focus on skills with a rogue base class. So anything that gives you more reason to want to increase your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma is always a good thing for rogues. So there's no preference, but there's no preference between the three, right? You've got 5 skills for intelligence, 5 skills for wisdom, 4 skills for charisma. Any one of those is great. So wisdom would have been just as nice as intelligence for this one. So a bit of a missed opportunity. It doesn't reduce their power. It's just, like a missed opportunity. Also at level 3, Dread Alliance. Okay, choose one of the dead 3, Bane, Ball, or Merkle. You gain resistance to one type of damage and the ability to cast a cantrip as detailed in the table below related to your choice. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for this cantrip. When you finish a long rest, you can change your choice. That was so important. I'm so glad that they allowed you to change your choice, because this would have been one of those really feel bad moments if you chose, Ball for poison resistance, and then just it turns out that the monsters in the campaign never deal poison damage, and you would have been like, I wish I'd chosen something else. Okay, so long rest, you can switch it. Great. A damage resistance, all 3 of these. So poison's a little more common in like tier 1 and tier 2, but it's not like psychic and necrotic are super rare. So you're still going to benefit from any one of these 3, tier 1, tier 2. Later tiers, tier 3 and 4, you start to see psychic and necrotic more than poison, I think. But even saying that is kind of it can be misleading. So I don't mean it that way, because it really depends not on the prevalence of of these occurrences of damage on the stat blocks in the monster manual. What matters is the prevalence of those stat blocks in your campaign. If the DM, it doesn't matter if there's like more poison damage dealing monsters in the whole monster manual than anything else, if the DM never picks those, or if they're not written into the campaign that's published that you're playing, right? It's the ones that are picked that matter. So another reason why it's so great that you can just switch this, okay? And then the cantrip. I love the minor illusion cantrip. I love that one a lot. It's very fun to play with. It's got a lot of utility uses. It's even got combat uses. So cool. Blade Ward. Okay, nice. I like this one, especially on a rogue. And this is if like you want to be a rogue that's like maybe more of a frontliner. Like you don't want to play the skirmisher style or a range style, and you want to like just move into combat and stay there. This is great. This is going to buff your, not bust, buff your AC, which is the thing you need probably most to survive front lines as a rogue. It's going to take your action though, and that's the downside. It's kind of questionable whether that's worth it. If you can find some way to weaponize your bonus action or other things so that you're not spending a whole action casting Blade Ward, that would be better, but not terrible. Chill Touch is the disappointing one here. As a rogue, so that's an attack cantrip, and you're a martial, so your attack and sneak attack will always do more damage than Chill Touch. Like the only way Chill Touch is better than your sneak attack and attack is if the monster is like immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and not immune to Chill Touch, to necrotic damage. So, and even though the rider's cool, where they can't heal once you've hit them with Chill Touch, but that's what the casters in the party are for. You do not want to be like putting that on your build as a martial. That's just, now if they gave them like the Gish extra attack feature that like Blade Singers have, maybe, because then you could still trigger, you could like have your Nick mastery, so you could and replace your one attack that you have, even though you have one that still helps you, because you would take the attack action, you would replace your one attack with Chill Touch. I'm still not sure that's a great, yeah, with Chill Touch will do more damage than just a base weapon attack, and then your Nick attack is the one you're hoping to trigger your sneak attack with. So you would still do all your sneak attack damage, and then Chill Touch would do more damage than just your one weapon by itself. So that would have worked. Pretty cool. But it doesn't work here. Or they could have just written a thing that says you can also trigger sneak attack with your Chill Touch. That would have been cool. That would have been a cool way to go at this. But neither of those are there. So Chill Touch, disappointing. I don't know why they keep doing that kind of stuff with martials, where they put attack spells on there that just don't make sense, because they're never going to outpace your martial damage. But overall, great feature. I like it. And the Scion of the 3 Rogue is starting off strong at level 3. Awesome. Level 9, Strike Fear. You gain the following cunning strike option. Terrify, cost 1d6. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or it has the frightened condition for 1 minute. Just that. While the target is frightened in this way, you have advantage on attack rolls against the target. The frightened target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. This one's awesome. I was nervous when I started reading it the first time, but it gets awesome. Okay, so the frightened condition is kind of like overused, and it's like not that, it's good but not great, but also overused. And then you read that clause about you have advantage on the attack rolls against the target. Awesome. Rogues always they want advantage more and need it more than anyone else, right? They're a martial, but it's not advantage doesn't just mean a better chance to hit for them. It means the opportunity to trigger sneak attack, which is critical to all their damage, right? If they can't get off a sneak attack for a turn, their damage sucks. Okay, so they really, really, really need that sneak attack. And this gives them a better way, another way to self empower to make that sneak attack. So this, I like this a lot, and they can do it every round. So they could just be sneak attacking everybody, frighten that one, frighten that one, frighten that one, and it lasts a minute. So they can frighten everybody in a combat by doing this, and then they're just chasing them, or they can just frighten one and focus on them, and then just harry that one, and once they're bloodied, now you're teleporting after them and sneak attacking them twice. Like, very thematic, very cool. It like this is a good example of mechanics delivering on the flavor and theme of the lore that's set up for this character. So this one delivers. I like it. And as we're coming off of that high, this one's a little disappointing. Okay, level 13, Aura of Malevolence. You radiate malignant power associated with one of the dead three. When you use Bloodthirst and teleport each creature of your choice within 10 feet of either the space you left or your destination space, your choice, takes damage equal to your intelligence modifier. The damage type is the same as the damage resistance granted by the choice in the Dread Allegiance feature. Damage dealt by this feature ignores resistance. Okay, first up, I love that it ties back to your level 3 feature. I always think that's awesome when they do that. And by the way, it's the level 3 feature that you can swap. So the damage, you're not stuck with poison or necrotic or psychic. You can switch those on a long rest. Okay, so I love that it ties back to your earlier features, reinforcing the theme of this character. Or of Malevolence, cool concept, cool idea, like this aura of hatred as you're and just being malevolent as you're hunting down enemies, either by choice because you're a bad guy or because a curse was forced on you, right? You've got both options. You can be a cursed good character, which, by the way, excellent role play fodder right there. A cursed good character. You're like Kellamvor from the Time of Troubles, a good character cursed to behave in bad ways. Awesome role play opportunities. Just don't use it as an excuse to PvP the other players. Like, that's never cool, okay? That's not cool. That's not fun role play. And probably no one but you will enjoy it, and you won't enjoy it for long either because no one will want to play with you. Okay. And if you don't play, you're not having fun. So don't use that as an excuse. All right. But the damage is a little disappointing. And the fact that it's tied to Bloodthirst makes this awkward because the conditions under which you want to use Bloodthirst, your level 3 ability, are different than the conditions you want to use this for. Okay. They're just different, right? With Bloodthirst, you're teleporting and kind of like you're harrying a single target, right? You're chasing down a target and finishing them off. Well, if they're trying to run away, then they're probably not surrounded by their allies, and so it's unlikely that there's going to be a bunch of people you want to use this on. But it's the same charge. You don't get separate uses of this. So if you're going to just burn your Bloodthirst to chase them down and do a bunch of damage, I mean, and it's better to use your charges of Bloodthirst for that, right? That's way more damage than this. So go ahead and just use it for that first. You don't want to like waste. I mean, you couldn't really waste. I don't know. I guess you could waste this when you're just going to do an AOE effect and not deal extra damage, the sneak attack damage to one target. Because this AOE is so small, like in damage, right? We're talking 4 or 5 points of damage. At least it can't be resisted. They either needed to. No, I'm just going to say it. What they needed to have done is separate this from Bloodthirst, right? Just it's a separate feature. It has its own uses. It can be tied to your intelligence uses per long rest, right? So a same kind of a number, quantity of uses, but completely separate pool of uses, and have this just trigger on your turn when you hit with an attack roll. Just like that. Okay, because those are more the conditions you're going to be under when you want to trigger this. Two completely separate sets of conditions, circumstances, and in this circumstance, you're going to use Bloodthirst to hunt them down, and in this circumstance, you're using Aura of Malevolence to AoE kind of a group of monsters and their minions. Okay, that's what they should have done. Level 17, Dread Incarnate. You gain the following benefits. Cutthroat, you gain 1 expended use of Bloodthirst when you finish a short rest. Murderous Intent, when you roll for sneak attack damage, you can treat a roll of 1 or 2 on the die as a 3. So first up, Cutthroat, hallelujah. Except you got this too late, right? Especially with the Aura of Malevolence. Like if you got this at 13 with Aura of Malevolence, that would have eased the pressure a little bit, not enough, but it would have eased the pressure a little bit on those uses of Bloodthirst to now, use them with War of Malevolence as well. I mean, it's the same uses and all that, but it's two different conditions, right? So you just have more uses so that you feel more comfortable using it under multiple conditions, right? And not always getting the most optimal benefit out of it. But with so few uses, you're going to like always try to make sure you get the optimal benefit out of it, which is counter to what you probably actually want to do and might just result in you using these less than you should, like resource hoarding, which is just less fun. Okay. And then murderous intent. I like this one. The, optimizers might say, well, this is only a half point DP, damage increase per sneak attack die. And you're right, right? If you're talking only average damage, you're averaging out your damage, this increases your average damage per sneak attack die from 3.5 to 4. And yeah, that's not a big average damage increase. Although you're doing 9 sneak attack damage at this level, so that's a 4.5 average damage increase, which is nothing to sneeze at. All right, that's decent. The big value of this is the fact that it's going to remove those feel bad moments, right? The feel bad moments where you hit with a sneak attack and then you just rolled super low on a bunch of them. You got a bunch of 1s and 2s, and your total damage for the round was like 15 at level 17 or 20 at level 17. And those just feel bad, right? And the negative effect of a feel bad moment like this, like that, is greater than the feel good moment of a crit. That's just how human psychology works. I'm an IT guy. I don't know. That's just how it works, right? So if you're talking about the average fun of a session, removing the feel bad moments is going to raise the average fun of a session a lot more than the average damage, right? So I like this, but these are both like quality of life improvements, and you need quality of life, or you want quality of life improvements early in life, not at the end of your life. So both of these should have been moved up much sooner, and then just an entirely new feature that's interesting and inspiring and exciting to get to. That you're going to be looking forward to for like a year to a year and a half with a campaign with this character, right? Something that's it's just exciting. Okay. Final thoughts. This one is a strong thumbs up. This is well designed. The mechanics deliver on the flavor and fantasy of what you're got envisioned here, or like what they described, right? So I guess most of us should have this same similar idea envisioned here. It delivers on that fantasy, which is awesome. And even though it's got a mix of like great abilities with some okay abilities, a little like 13 is a little disappointing. 17 is fine, but too late, right? They're okay. They're not bad. And you've got a mix of these. But the good news is the great abilities are front loaded. So it's not like you're going to start off kind of like, disappointed. Like the Phantom Rogue is one where at level 3 is just disappointing. And it doesn't get cool till level 9. Okay. This one's going to feel cool at level 3. You're going to feel awesome. And then everything builds on that and adds to it. So you're just going to feel cooler and cooler and cooler, not like you're just waiting for some future far off time when you feel awesome. So this one will be a lot of fun. I'm excited to do some builds with it, and I'm excited to see players create builds with this and see how it works in combat. I think this will be exciting and fun, and I'm glad they nailed this one because they really needed to nail a few of these after the just total tragedy of the Banneret and the disappointment of the Winter Walker. I love to see that they nailed this one. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. And I've added, if you don't have enough D&D in your life, and you're looking for more D&D, I've put a link to my Discord profile in the description and a link to my Start Playing Games profile in the link. If you want more, if you want just looking for more D&D in your life, click those, hit me up, let's connect. And because I love D&D, I love playing this game, I love DMing it. So if you want to play with me, let's do it. All right, see you next time.